Clemencia Lucena was a Colombian artist who lived from the 1940s until the 1980s. More than an artist, she was an activist and also a revolutionary who, through her artwork, made points about Colombian society during her time, but also society as a whole. To start, it's important to know a little bit about who was Lucena. She was born in 1945 in Bogota, the capital of Colombia. She studied in La Universidad de los Andes, the University of the Andes, under the mentorship of Edgar Negret, who was a Colombian sculptor at this time. On the right, we can see a work of Negret's that was called Flor, or Flower, and this realistic sculpture had influences in the artwork of Lucena, who used realism to make her point and to make an impact in her artwork. In her first works from 1967 to 1971, Lucena took an approach of focusing on women's issues and women's rights in Colombian society, and after 1971, she focused more on the rights of workers and the working class in Colombia. In 1983, she died in Cali, another city in Colombia. For reference, we have Bogota, the birthplace of Lucena, in the middle of Colombia, and we have Cali off to the left coast. Arguably the most important part of Lucena's life was her involvement in Maoism and her participation in Maoism. In 1971, Lucena became a member of the Movimiento Obrero Independiente Revolucionario, or the Revolutionary Labor Independent Movement of Colombia. This group focused on independence and anti-imperialism. During this time, the United States was still involved in Latin America, and this group wanted their own independence and their own freedom. After becoming a part of Maoism, she also became a member of the Frente Cultural that was made up of artists who created visual art as a way to get the messages of Maoism across to the everyday people of Colombia. So Maoism, understood simply, is the collectivism of workers, of farmers, of artisans, basically those who are spurring the economy, having control of the government, and having control of the economy. In 1975, Lucena wrote Anotaciones Políticas sobre Pintura Colombiana, or political annotations about Colombian painting. And in this, she tried to portray the political fight that was happening in Colombia as something normal, as something that could be shared by many different people. So what does this all mean? Basically, it means that Lucena transitioned from works focused on the rights of women to those of workers, but we can also see an intersection between these two in some of her later works. She heavily based her work in Maoism, or, as I said, the worker as having economic power, and also feminism, the belief in women's rights and equality of the sexes. This all culminates in her legacy as an activist, and also her work was important during this time due to U.S. involvement in Latin America, the Red Scare, and the beginning of the Cold War. She hoped to normalize that which caused fear in others and to show that these fights could be shared by workers throughout the world. Now to her works. On the left, we have ¿Qué hacen ellas mientras ellos trabajan in 1970. Basically, what do these women do while their husbands are working? We see women playing the guitar and singing. We see women being involved with learning about John F. Kennedy and Eisenhower. So showing that women do have a place in these scholarly activities that have been dominated by men up until this point. We also see Reina Conflictiva in 1968 at the bottom of this slide. Up until this point, women had been portrayed as being beautiful if they were white passing and thin, and this painting is showing that they do not have to follow these typical beauty standards in order to be beautiful. So after these two works, we see the shift to works focused on the rights of workers and their fight. In Moir, we have Vivan las Marchas Campesinas in 1972 at the top. They are holding a sign saying La tierra para el que la trabaja, the earth for those that work it. So those that are spurring the economy, those that are doing work for their government, they want to be in control of what they are working. On the right, we have En un día de movilización from 1979, and I think this intersects pretty well the fights of women and also the fights of workers. We see a woman with her child. So these people that wanted Maoism were not these scary people. They were normal people with families. They had kids, but they just wanted an equal society. So her works taken together, we can see how she used artwork as a way to create ideals and to influence the people that she was trying to reach. Her legacy today, in Colombia, she is not very well known. In reality, it is difficult to find a lot of information about her and to learn about her life, but she did have some exhibitions throughout her life. She was in the 21st Salón de Artistas Nacionales in 1970 at the National Museum of Bogota. She also participated in an exhibition of contemporary art of Colombia in 1971 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. She also participated in an exhibition in 1972 in Medellin, Colombia. Today, her works are in La Biblioteca, Luis Ángel Arango y el Banco de la República, Marcela Guerrero. And this image that I am sharing with you is from the Museum of Modern Art of Bogota. This was an exhibit that she was participating in, or that she was portrayed in, and we can see how this piece of work is larger than what we have seen on screen. Lucena used posters and art that was larger than we would usually be normalized to get her point across and to catch the eye of the person that she wanted to view it. So obviously with works this big, it was hard to miss them, and that was exactly her point. So even today, with the fight for the rights of workers, equality in our society, we can see how art is something that can influence those to change their mind, can influence people to come to an understanding with others. And even if artists do not recognize her name today, her legacy as someone who used their art to get their point across is still alive and well today. So here are some of the sources that were used for this video. If you'd like, you could follow them and learn more about the work of Lucena and also her life. Thanks for watching.